All right, continue. We're in chapter 8. There's only 9 chapters in this game. So we're going to blow this out of the water. We're going to see how long it takes to get through chapter 8. And depending on how quick it is, we'll just keep 8 and 9 in the same video for YouTube, or we'll split them up. These chapters have averaged like about an hour to hour and a half each. I think 4 and 5 I did together just because, or 3 and 4, 5 and 6. The truth. Yeah, exactly. Your Schwartz is as big as mine. I should watch Spaceballs again. That's also very good, even though it's a parody. What in the world? Has an elephant escaped and made its way to the 2nd floor? It sounds as though it's coming directly above me, but that is the storage room. It's so good. I love parody movies just because they do a really good job of like making fun of things, but in such a like Spaceballs just has so many like good references and everything, not just to Star Wars, but just in like movie making and all in general. It's been too long. Yeah. Like I like things that don't take themselves too seriously. Like, and I think that was the problem I had with a lot of Marvel movies is I couldn't really watch them because they take themselves so seriously, and I'm like, this is a comic book movie. It's a comic book. I know they get kind of serious, but they're comic books. Why is everything so gritty and blah and whatever? Like, I don't know. Which is why, like, a lot of people didn't like Thor Ragnarok because they're like, it's too lighthearted. And I'm like, it's a comic book movie. Let it joke around. Blue Beetle, if you care about DC movies. You know, I'm like, I don't care more about one or the other, DC and Marvel. Like, I'm not a huge fan of either. I just know most people are like, DC movies are shit. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, all the movies are okay if you think about it. But yeah, I might check that out because that just came out recently, right? Oh, the storeroom. It's open. What's in the storeroom? Did somebody else get murdered? Oh. Why would Monsieur Sterling be in here clattering around in the dead of night? Because he has something to hide. About a month ago. Yeah. And I know a lot of people who are like trying to crap on it too. And I'm like, if you haven't seen it, like whatever, just watch it. I don't know. Like, don't do that. Like, don't like make an assumption about something before you've even checked it out. Archibald is up in the middle of the night making some amount of noise. I must find out the extent of his behavior. Hey, bro. You're suspicious, Archibald. You acted like the phone was working when it wasn't working. Can I look around the room? Is there anything here? There's a hammer. There's that. Nerds have bigger... Yeah, no, I mean... And I always bring it back to this. It just makes me think of, like, the anime wars of the 90s and 2000s where, like, either you like Bleach, or you like Naruto, or you like Dragon Ball Z, or you don't like any of them because you're stupid. And it's like, everybody can like whatever they like. Like, just shut up.
Mr. Sterling. Oh, Detective. I was just... Please. I eagerly await to hear what reason you give for being in the storage room at this hour.
Okay, sorry, I need to turn the volume on that down a little bit. I think it was a little bit loud.
A butler's job is never...
Also, I guess the big thing is, like, Star Wars or Star Trek. And also, there's, like, so much Star Trek media as well. That's another thing that I'm a little, like, hesitant to get into because it's just kind of intimidating. But I know I've seen some Star Trek, and I like it. Like, it's a perfectly good sci-fi series. It's just there's a lot. You know, and there's a lot of Star Wars as well, but it's like, I don't know, having to like them because now it's self-insert. Yeah, exactly. Although I will say, after like Naruto, after a while, I was just like, I can't watch this anymore. It's getting too long and convoluted. Everybody's coming back from the dead. I don't know what's happening anymore.
I am no fool, monsieur. You have spun enough stories this weekend.
Honestly, Detective, you don't trust anyone.
Yeah, I don't trust you at all.
And with good reason.
My patience has all but run out. What are you doing in here?
I've been thinking about my time with the family.
Okay, are you trying to pack up and leave? Oh, that bookshelf I just noticed. The bookshelf has been moved. Secret!
I often think on fond
He's trying to get into the secret room.
But it does not take me to a storage room in the middle of the night.
There are many memories held within these walls.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see them again.
Memories are secrets. Monsieur Sterling sounds as though he plans on leaving the house. Does he now? Yeah, it sounded as though you were moving furniture in here.
I didn't realize the noise I was making.
Huh.
Obviously. Were you preoccupied looking for another of the Major's
no.
medals?
Of course not. I already explained.
No, monsieur. You attempted to dupe me again into believing one of your stories.
Yeah, no, exactly. And honestly, all of them were really bad about that. All the Shonen Jump stuff was terrible at having like 5 to 8 minute recaps. And I'm just like, when are we actually going to make any advancements?
Please, detective. I know you know how it ended up in my possession. I was just trying to get some extra money together to send home. I can't lose this job. If Lady Van den Bosch found out...
Theft of a medal would be the very least of your problems.
I've done nothing but deceive and abuse your position in the house.
Deceive? I'm sorry that I lied to you.
Oh no,
about
not the medal. Not the medal. Even when confronted, Monsieur Sterling still remains steadfast and refused to acknowledge what he has done.
Would you care to explain the fake telephone call? It was purely for my benefit, no?
Oh yeah, no, you know what? I love Slice of Life because it gets very much to the point, and then you're good, and you're like, I feel good about this.
Why would I fake a telephone call?
Like that's why I enjoy series that are between like 13 to 26 episodes, because I'm like, I'm in and I'm out, and I can enjoy life. And as much as I like One Piece, 1,000 episodes is a lot. It's a lot.
The same reason that Mademoiselle Rihanna dressed in the Major's jacket in the snow, to allow not only the guests but me to believe the Major was still alive.
I didn't kill him, detective.
I didn't say you did.
I know, monsieur. But I also know that you helped the one that did to cover their tracks.
It wasn't like that. We were just trying to help. She had no part in it.
Uh-huh. Both you and Mademoiselle Rihanna risked your freedom to help Elizabeth.
You never let on. How long have you known it was her?
A while. I'm
Monsieur,
smart.
I am Detective Hercule Poirot. I only show my hand when I deem it necessary.
That's right.
You will be taking her away then.
She will stand trial for what she has done.
But you don't know the full story. She is just a servant in this house. If she is arrested, that will be the end for her.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to catch up on things. You know, it's funny because when we were chatting earlier, they were talking about Psycho-Pass, and I realized I'd never watched Psycho-Pass, but I've heard very many good things, and I'm like, I should just watch that. There's a lot of things I need to watch.
If Mademoiselle was only protecting herself, as you both have claimed, she will surely be found innocent.
Yeah, exactly. Self-defense is, that can be taken care of. You have still not explained what you were doing in here.
The Major's military storage box.
What about it?
The one that stored his medals.
Amongst other things, yes.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about Black Clover.
And those other things are?
I had to protect her. If you found it when searching the study, you would have carted her off then and there.
The murder weapon?
Whatever it is you have hidden, it will not remain that way for much longer.
Monsieur Sterling is obviously hiding something. I should perhaps conduct my own search for it instead of relying on his cryptic messages. Yeah.
I need a moment.
Okay, let's look at this. I mean, I can tell. Look at it, bro. That's definitely a secret door. Oh, I'm sorry, Omega. Detached saint carving.
Huh.
One of the many saint carvings from around the house, abandoned in a box. Why is the saint carving here? I don't know, man. Am I supposed to talk to him now? Do I have new things to ask him about saints? It's okay. You know what? Even if you don't catch a Pokemon, I still love you, Omega. You don't have to catch Pokemon to get to my heart. You just have to get behind my ribs. That's where it lives. What's going on, Arnold? Detached saint carving. Claims there's more to the story. Hid the items related to the murder. Van den Bosch secret. Doo doo. I'm so smart.
My own skills of deduction.
Yeah. The detached carving may relate to a door in this room. This would explain Archibald's presence. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba. Hid the items. I don't know. Maybe he knows where the secret is. Yeah, no, I do too, Kit, honestly. Like, even when there's, like, big events going on, I'm like, I don't know. Like, oh, for a couple of weeks, we were getting the legendary dogs a lot in here. And I think I caught Raiko or Entei. I caught one of them, but I couldn't catch the other ones. I think Zunder got Entei. Nobody could catch Suicune, though. We were all very salty about that. Archibald must have hidden items in the secret room. I presume this exists within here somewhere. Inspect the store. I already know where it is. It's obviously this. It's so obvious. Do. Waiting for Archibald to, like, hit me from behind. Aha! A hidden room. It seems there are more secrets in this house to discover. Military service box. Never saw any legendary hamster say, "Oh, you did? Ooh, no, that's awesome, Omega." Zunder got it as well. I kind of want to get it, but I'm also like, it's apparently the fight is just like ridiculous if you're not super prepared. Yeah, contains letters and keepsakes. Okay. Oh, another safe? Oh, an expensive lighter. Expensive-looking lighter. Looks to have, unfortunately, been through a war. Come, my little gray cells. I believe we already know something about this mystery. Ooh, what if it's other man? Letter? The last will and testament of the late Viscount. It seems he truly loved Angeline. I declare that I, Viscount Edwin van den Bosch, am of sound mind. This last will expresses my wishes without undue influence or duress. Article 1. In the event of my death, I hereby appoint my wife, Cassandra van den Bosch, as the executor of the van den Bosch estate, or executor, I think that's right, and I leave my remaining wealth here, held in the van den Bosch name, to my only daughter, Angeline van den Bosch. Any outstanding debts, expenses of my last illness, funeral expenses, and administration costs are to be paid from the van den Bosch account at the National Bank of Belgium. Oh, wow. To my daughter Angeline, you are the apple of my eye and the brightest star in the sky. Never allow your light to fade for even a moment. Even at one. Oh, you did? Wow. You know, if I'm preparing the Mew that hard, you prepared. Oh, yeah, because apparently the Mew is the best counter, yes? And I guess you just have to teach it specific moves. It's already level 100. Originally, Walking Wake. Yeah, Zunder did that. To my wife, Cassandra, thank you for the many joyous years. We have laughed, we have loved, and we have brought the most precious of gifts into this world together. I trust that you will protect her and prepare her for a future full of opportunity and hope. It's level 5? How did you get it up? Do you just like feed it candy forever? I guess I could do that. I mean, I could level things up pretty fast. I just am stingy. Make sure its nature is adamant. Change terror type to bug. Oh, okay. Got it. Viscount Edwin van den Bosch. Monsieur Victor Roger. Roger and Petit Solicitors. Or Petit. Sorry. Military knife.
Oh.
A prestigious-looking knife, likely belonging to the Major. Time to put them gray cells together. Oh, there's a lot. Expensive lighter. How do I zoom? Unrecognizable symbol. Well used. Taking medals for extra money. Admits the cover-up. Potential murder weapon. Bloodstains. Ba-da-da-da!
Beginning to become clearer.
Optional hyper train with bottle caps. Oh yeah, that's easy to do as well. Specific moveset. Okay, yeah, I'd probably have to look that up because yeah, I guess apparently the Mew is the best counter to it. If the event one is still on one of these days, Unimu group members hit you up. Okay, yeah, things are beginning to become clearer. The murder weapon has been found. Elizabeth must have used this in the study. Okay. Rose engraving. Major contacted old friends. Major was building his militia. Oh, for the... Presumably from his days during war. Formal letter. Dismissal of the Major. Oh, when did I learn all this? I don't remember learning that he was dishonorably discharged. He does seem like someone who would be, though. Major's reckless actions led to the ruler's pension. Did losing his pension affect his own? Yeah, of course, because he didn't have money. Major killed prisoners of war? Whoa! That's a bad man. Okay, under the guardianship of Madame. Request they okay, under her guardianship. Left belongings to Angeline. The Major's lighter. Major must have dropped it. Empty canteen. Canteen from the war. Can imagine it held anything from water to whiskey. Standard military box. War map. An indecipherable map from the war. It is useless to my investigation. Unrecognized symbol. Could it be related to anything else here? Canteen. Why did I use a cat? Well, because we don't just kill them, I guess. Rose engraving. Oh, wait. Rose engraving. Rose engraving. I'm so smart. This lighter must have belonged to the Major. The army symbol all but confirms this. But don't I already have this in my possession? Military lighter. Oh, the Major's lighter? Yeah, thinking of everything. The lighter I found in the military box is certainly the Major's, meaning the other one is not. Ooh, whose is that then? Well, I gotta talk to Archibald about two things. Hey, I found the murder weapon and also a lighter. Yeah, no, that's true. Gosh, almost 5 years since I played Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door on stream.
There is no use lying anymore.
Although I think I played it again more recently when I was going through the Paper Mario series. When I inspected the garden yesterday, I found a lighter I assumed belonged to the Major.
He always had his regiment lighter that he received in the war on his person.
And yet, it was not his regiment emblem that was engraved on it.
My father's. It must have fallen out of my pocket.
Oh,
You still
Archibald.
Have it, detective.
Yeah. NSO has the original Paper Mario N64, which I can highly recommend. I love that game. I do like the Thousand-Year Door more, but that's just because it's basically just a much more polished Paper Mario, which is why I loved it so much. And then they started kind of veering off. Like, I didn't enjoy them quite as much. And I did, I won't lie, I did enjoy Paper Mario, the Origami King, but I still was very weirded out by the fighting system. Yeah, it's... like, I hated Sticker Star, but I was okay with Color Splash for the most part. I was still very annoyed that you have to do very specific things to kill a boss instead of just strategizing, but that was just the way things started going.
Monsieur, you have stashed evidence, manipulated a crime scene, obscured my investigation, and yet it is a lighter that you worry about most?
If it is my path to end up behind bars for what I have done, so be it. It is Elizabeth that you cannot allow to be locked up without the truth being told.
Yeah, if you just put in !quote, it'll pull up whatever. Like, everybody can hit the quote command.
I have heard how you fought for that young maid before. Fleurette, is it? I only ask that you do the same.
If you add a number, it'll do a specific one up to whatever I'm at right now. And I currently have... We're up to 510 quotes. Anything above that will not pull anything. But... Although the cases differ greatly in severity, I can envision the similarities in how Mademoiselle Elizabeth will be treated by those in positions of authority or social standing, even before she is trialed. This quote, she'll support your Tuesday. Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. I don't even know what I did. We are going to play Skyward Sword again soon. Maybe once I beat this. I don't know. Because I know I didn't play... I got to finish up Mario and the stuff. Thank you, 2018 Chaos. Of course. 2018 Chaos and Today Chaos support you fully, Omega. It is my oath as an officer of the law to uphold justice and fairness. Mademoiselle must be given the chance to prove her innocence before courts as any other suspect. At the absent murder weapon.
You found it.
Even
right
the secret
there.
area that has been created here is not concealed enough to stop Detective Hercule Poirot.
God, he's so humble.
I couldn't just leave it at the scene for you to find.
The Major was killed by his own knife. The knife that protected his life during the war would eventually be the one that ended it.
Possibly the one that killed innocent people.
It was in his holster.
Or at least
when
prisoners.
He attacked her. He had hold of her arm. What else was she meant to use to get him off of her?
Cannot imagine the Major would have given his knife up easily. She must have been in close proximity to reach it. Perhaps he did attack her as she claims.
She didn't plan any of it, Detective. She was only defending herself.
That is what Mademoiselle told you?
She did, and I believe her. You think you knew the Major,
Thank
but
you.
had no idea.
I
He
like
was a
this shirt,
monster
mostly
and had more
because
secrets
it's
than
another
all of us
sleeveless
combined.
shirt, so I don't have to worry about being super hot. Also, it rained today. It was only for like 30 minutes, but it was the first decent rain we've had in like 2 months. So I'll take it. I hope we get more.
That may be true.
It was hot here
That
today.
does not excuse
yeah,
what
it
she
was.
has done.
It was hot. I think RC said it was like 27 degrees for her, which is pretty warm. I mean, it got up to 35 here, and we're talking in Celsius for everybody who doesn't know. But it was
Put
cooler
yourself
today
in
than
our
usual.
shoes for a minute.
You had to go in
If
water.
a man
Yeah.
like that had attacked me the way he did Lizzie,
Look,
I
here's
would have done a
28.
lot worse
Yeah.
to him.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth has told Monsieur Sterling a version of the events that suggests she was attacked by the Major. I struggled to believe that she would make such a story up, but then I also did not believe she could do such a thing as commit murder.
I need a moment.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. At least not for you guys. I need a moment. Time to gray cells? The Major's bedroom window. Open window. Archibald was in the garden.
What a revelation.
If the only thing I found was Archibald's lighter, he must have collected something else. What else did Archibald collect from the garden? He took something from the garden. He collected something dropped from the window. What would he have dropped? He took a sweaty walk outside, and then you also worked out. Yeah, I haven't walked in a bit because I've been like, I don't know. I just haven't. I should get up early tomorrow, though, and go for a walk before and do some Pokemon Go and stuff. I also need to work out. There's a lot of things I should do. If you go quiet, it's because you're asleep. No, that's fine. I know it's late for you. Won't bother me if you fall asleep. Collected something that fell out the window. What dropped out the window? Was it the murder weapon? Did she throw it out the window?
The pieces
Oh,
of the
she threw it out the
puzzle
window.
finally come-
Archibald dropped the murder weapon from the window, collected it, then hid it in the secret. That makes sense, because nobody would think to look outside in the snow. Yeah. Archibald dropped the knife out the window. I need to talk to him again, but not before I... Well, okay, I do have to talk to him because I haven't figured out the truth yet.
There is no use lying anymore.
No, there's not. It was you that I saw in the garden that night?
When you asked me yesterday about seeing someone out there, I thought the game was up.
That does not explain what you were doing out there.
Yeah, it doesn't.
When Lizzie took me to the study, the knife was still in the Major's chest, and I knew I had to get rid of it. I dropped it out of the window, knowing no one would be going outside. It was fine for the time being, but I couldn't risk it being found when the snow melted.
So you collected it under the cover of darkness and stowed it away in here where you thought no one would find it.
And then you made a bunch of noise, so I figured out exactly where you took it.
After your questioning in the pantry, I knew you were onto something, and I couldn't leave it here.
And where did you plan on moving it to?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know.
Oh, new conversation unlocked. Dan. Collecting the item and hiding it to save Elizabeth. He must truly want to protect her from the law. Objective complete. Okay, so that we did it. All right. Wait. Okay, so the truth. Okay, so we completed that. Now what, I guess talk to him?
There is no use.
I have one last question. Why?
Why what? Why I would risk everything to help Lizzie?
Are you related to her? Are you her dad?
Exactement.
Because she is family. If you were in that position, you would do the same.
Maybe. I don't know.
I can assure you, monsieur, that I would not.
Yeah, I'm different.
Then perhaps that says something about you, Detective.
Wow.
I would do anything for her. For any of my staff.
I don't know. I don't know.
Even if it means crossing the boundaries of the law.
I'm still very suspicious of this man.
Without question.
Okay, well. The lengths that Monsieur Sterling would go to protect someone he considers family is admirable, but when those lengths break the very laws that are in place to protect the innocent, they cannot be ignored. I ask that once your morning duties for the ladies of the house are complete, Mademoiselle Rahana and yourself wait in the staff quarters.
Aye, Detective. But please, you have to help Lizzie. It was all an accident. She doesn't deserve to spend the rest of her days behind bars because of that man.
If she is put behind bars, it is because that is what the courts have decided upon.
That's not a very reassuring answer.
Detective, you can't be so cruel.
It is not cruelty, monsieur.
It is the law. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, was that chapter 8? Because if that's chapter 8, that's only 26 minutes. Oh, no. Okay. After all these further revelations, my mind is as busy as Monsieur Goulet's chocolate shop. Nice. Now I want chocolate. I have all of the pieces of the puzzle to deduce why Elizabeth killed the Major. Now I must allow my little gray cells to put them together. So did you make a cheese toasty today, Omega, after all of our cheese toasty and grilled cheese talk? Oh gosh. Oh, another mind map. Determine why Elizabeth killed the Major. Well, supposedly self-defense. After finding those documents in the hidden room, things are starting to fall into place as to why Elizabeth may have killed him. Okay. Wait, because of all of the stuff. Under guardianship of Madame, Viscount left belongings to Angeline. Major was... Oh! The Major was behind his militia, which I think was what caused... Maybe factory strike and he paid? Never mind. Not that. Security attacked first. Maybe that? No? Okay, I thought it was like maybe a revenge plot. Elizabeth is the murderer. Okay. Major killed dishonorably discharged. Bad financial state. Does not receive... Wait. Okay, let's put that. Okay, so those make sense. Yeah, he's not making any money. The Major's financial struggles must have left him in the need of a source of income. Who could the Major have turned to in this time of need? Only one person.
What a revelation.
Ernesto. The Major needed the job to go ahead. It was the only way to guarantee money in his pocket. What could he do to ensure the job would be done? Sure, the job was done. He had his own militia.
I cannot.
Oh, never mind. Not. Oh, he contacted old friends? Maybe. Okay, it won't let me like go through stuff. Oh, maybe security attacked first. Major bad. War map. Useless to investigation. Okay. Building his militia. I'm trying to think. What the heck makes sense then? Dishonorably discharged? No. Okay. What is it trying to... Security attacked first. Okay, so he told them to attack first.
Things are beginning to...
Secures payment. The Major must have ordered the attack at the strikes. What were the consequences of the Major ordering the first attack? Oh, then Luke died.
Another
Okay, yeah, so
success.
she would have hated him. The Major's actions, unfortunately, led to the death of Look, and all for greed. Who would have been most affected by this? I don't know. Probably. There's motive. Okay, so we were finding motive. Elizabeth has probably lost more than anyone else involved. She may have sought her revenge. Elizabeth was possibly seeking revenge. Okay, then what else are we gonna... What else can we smash together right now? Why Elizabeth killed the Major. He's a bad
I would
man.
not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
This information would have destroyed his reputation if unveiled. A strong motive for blackmail, yeah. Elizabeth doesn't seem like the vengeful type, but all signs are pointing to her seeking revenge for her beloved Look. Oh, okay, well that was it. So maybe, did she blackmail him then? If I'm to confront Mademoiselle Elizabeth, I must be at my best and my little gray cells at their most alert. It is time to at least try and rest. Yeah, I feel like that might have just been chapter 8. Never mind, this is still in chapter 8. I was like, it's 30 minutes. I have no time to wallow in my lack of sleep. I must confront Mademoiselle Elizabeth and hopefully finally know the truth of what took place.
Detective
Oh,
Poirot,
hi.
I'm glad you're awake.
Hi, Angeline, what's up? Oh, don't tell me she's gone.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. It has certainly not been a night of peaceful sleep. There is something that we must discuss.
Yes, there is.
Please, Detective, I'm not sure I can take any more surprises like last night.
That's how life goes. The life of a detective.
I'm afraid this may be the most upsetting of them all.
You have found Felix's killer, haven't you?
I have. And the guilty party will certainly come as a shock.
I take no great pleasure in telling you this Mademoiselle...
Detective, please.
It was Mademoiselle Elizabeth that was behind the Major's death.
You must be mistaken. Elizabeth could not do such a thing.
Oh, well, she could. A knife is very sharp. You just slip it in there and you're
I
good.
assure you I am not. It is something I spent much of last night deliberating. When you spoke of the telephone lines being out of order, it made me question the conversation I thought I had heard Monsieur Sterling make with the Major before connecting the call to him.
But it hasn't been working all weekend.
That's the point.
Exactement,
Yeah.
mademoiselle. That is when I knew I had once again been lied to.
On my way to speaking with Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Verhana, I met Mademoiselle Elizabeth.
She was meant to be resting in the staff quarters. She has not been well.
I am afraid that was yet another lie, orchestrated to keep her from incriminating herself.
Why would you think that, Detective?
I only managed a few words with her before we were quite abruptly interrupted by Monsieur Sterling.
I must admit, he has a habit of speaking over the other staff.
It was much more than merely disturbing our conversation. It was done with the intention to prevent Mademoiselle saying something that she should not.
So, Elizabeth killed Felix, and then Archibald helped her cover it up?
Yep.
In its simplest form, oui. I have heard it directly from the horse's mouth.
You have spoken with Elizabeth already? Did she admit to it?
No, I talked with Archibald.
Not Elizabeth, but Monsieur Sterling.
Were you not woken last night by that tremendous amount of noise coming from the storage room?
I wasn't. What were you doing in there, Detective?
What was I doing in there?
It was Monsieur Sterling that I found in there. I was taken by some surprise to hear anyone awake at that hour.
What on earth was he doing?
He claimed he was merely reminiscing of his time with the family.
You don't believe him?
No, of course not.
It did not take long for me to uncover the truth of why he was there, and the location of the Major's murder weapon.
Do you know of the hidden area within the storage room?
Hidden area?
I hope that she actually doesn't know and she's not just playing it up again.
A room that held all of the Major's secrets.
I mean, you already lied to me once, lady.
I had no idea. Did you discover the reason for his blackmail?
I did. Were you aware he was dishonorably discharged from the army?
Dishonorably? What does that mean?
It means not honorably. I will not hide the truth from Mademoiselle, but I will try and be as delicate as possible with the news of the Major's prior actions. He killed people. I am sure you are aware, Monsieur Zachariah's troubles he faces from his time in the war.
Yes, Gideon told me about the conversation you had. It is really quite upsetting.
Zachariah was adamant of the Major's cruelty during the war, but the extent was not known until now. He killed a number of prisoners, men that were friends of Zachariah.
No wonder why he would be unhappy.
Surely not. He would not do such a thing. They must have been trying to escape.
They always have to...
I am afraid not. They were in fact unarmed.
Yeah.
Oh, detective.
That can't be right. I know.
It is the reason he was discharged, denied his military pension, and I believe the reason he fled England.
He had been such an important part of my life for so long.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I feel like I hardly knew him.
Yeah, you probably didn't know very much about him.
Innocence? You said it was she that killed him.
It was her hand that held the knife, but he was quite insistent it happened in self-defense.
In all of the years I have known her, she has barely even raised her voice. I cannot believe
She's
would do
probably
something
not
like that
holding
out
it
of
in.
malice.
Find out why your corner. Oh, why is that? Is it the cats? Are they causing issues?
The whole truth cannot be known until Mademoiselle Elizabeth has told her story.
I allowed my perception of her character to conceal any thoughts of her involvement. It seems I am not the only one. The time has come to confront Mademoiselle Elizabeth.
Will you allow me to be present?
I think that is an excellent idea.
Excellent.
I hope your presence will calm her and will perhaps allow her to speak more freely.
Yes, please.
Please, detective. I know she has done a terrible
What is he
thing, but
doing?
I beg of you to give her the time to explain herself.
I will offer Mademoiselle Elizabeth the fair trial that she deserves.
As I would with any suspect. Yeah.
Thank you, Detective Poirot.
Oh, is it directed so it's blowing like over to your side?
Would you bring Mademoiselle Elizabeth
I
to
didn't even
the
think about
study
that.
where we will not be disturbed?
Yes, please.
Of course, I'll find her immediately.
Gibble. Yeah, I mean, even my PC is like a couple feet away from me, but even I can tell like the heat coming off of it. Like this corner definitely gets warmer than like the rest of the room. I believe what Monsieur Sterling has already told me about the events that occurred between Mademoiselle Elizabeth and the Major. I do not believe she would have had to do what she did if he had not attacked her and pushed her to the point where she feared for her life. I must listen to her story, the truth, and only then can her punishment be determined.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth, merci for joining us.
Miss Angeline said you requested to see me urgently.
Yes, you murderer!
We have some serious matters to discuss, and I would like to waste no further time.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Detective.
How are you feeling, mademoiselle?
Still not quite myself.
Is it because you murdered a man?
I was surprised when Monsieur Sterling hurried you to assist Madame Vandenbosch last night.
I should not have avoided my duties for so long. The house does not stop because I'm feeling a little under the weather.
That is true, but you cannot be expected to complete all your tasks if you are not in the right frame of mind.
Exactly. Sorry, I just clapped because Des is playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Honestly, Detective, it was best for me to not sit and wallow anymore.
My investigation has taken me down many paths this weekend.
Have you been able to uncover who the blackmailer is?
Good job on the catch, RC.
The blackmailer's identity has been established, and they will pay the price for their crimes.
Wonderful news, Detective. You can put it all behind you now. You must be thrilled.
There's one little matter of the stabbied man.
I would not say thrilled, knowing that such a close friend has betrayed us.
Mademoiselle is correct. What I have learned over this weekend is that people are not always as they appear. While they may give an impression of being a friend or ally, they can in fact be something completely different.
A monster.
And, what of the Major's killer?
Well, mademoiselle, that is why I have asked you here now.
I posed the question to all of the guests and what their thoughts on the Major were, and now I extend that question to you.
I'm not quite sure what you want me to say, Detective.
Your honest opinion is all I ask, and, s'il te plaît, do not hold back. No one else felt it necessary.
Yeah, everybody else was like, I hate that man.
We only spoke when there was something in the house to be done. We did not speak of interests or pastimes.
You knew of his work with Monsieur de Silva?
I only know what is required of me to know, and that is very little.
I don't know about that.
But you were aware of his work as security at Monsieur de Silva's factory.
I was.
Uh-huh.
The factory your beloved Luke worked at.
Oh,
Before
wow.
He was cruelly taken from this world.
Nice.
Yes, Detective.
Yeah, that one. Thanks for reminding me. I understand Luke was not only involved in the strikes, but was on the front line.
Yes, that is where he spent his last moments. Standing shoulder to shoulder with his fellow workers.
Mm-hmm.
The resulting riots were a terrible tragedy. One that I hope we will not have to see or experience again. Something that could have been avoided had the Major and his team done what was required of them.
Nobody deserved to die that day. Not my Luke.
Uh-huh. Do you blame the Major for his death?
Detective, what kind of question is that?
It's a pretty honest question, to be honest.
It is a straightforward one.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. Do you hate the man?
He...
Go ahead, say it.
Mademoiselle, if there is something you wish to tell me, now is that time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Detective, I just don't know how to answer it.
Let us consider what we know of the Major. He fronted the militia that attacked the workers at the strike. You were aware of this? You finally had someone to blame for Luke's death. Someone conveniently located in the same house, alone in his study.
No, Detective. It wasn't like that.
Okay, then how was it?
Tell me what happened with the Major on the evening of his death.
Yeah.
I was only in here trying to prove what I heard Mr. Beckers say. I was going to report him, I swear. Miss Angeline, you believe me, don't you?
I want to. I am still trying to understand it all
Yeah.
myself.
Start from the beginning.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Tell us how it went.
I was delivering Miss Angeline's dress to her room when I heard Mr. Beckers arguing with the Major in his study. They were ever so loud. I thought the whole house would have been listening to what they were saying. Mr. Beckers was talking about the factory strikes and how it was the Major's fault. He told him that if he didn't own up to his crimes, he would go to the newspapers.
I cannot imagine the Major would have taken kindly to Monsieur Becker's threat.
He didn't. He called him some rather uncouth names before Mr. Beckers left and went downstairs. I made sure to keep out of sight. After the altercation between the Major and Master Gideon, you went to speak with him outside, and I thought I could look around his study without anyone knowing. I had to know for sure.
Oh, and he
If it
came
was
back
true,
and saw you, didn't he?
He deserved to be held accountable.
And did you find the proof you are looking for?
I found a payment from Mr. De Silva, but there was nothing incriminating about that. I was so nervous. I felt like my heart was beating out of my chest.
And then you saw the blackmail note.
I recognized the writing on the envelope. I couldn't believe it. How could he do such a thing to Angeline? To the family that had taken him in?
Common sense would determine the Major was another victim of the blackmailer.
If I'd have used common sense, I wouldn't have been snooping around alone in his study in the first place.
Okay, fair.
I heard the footsteps in the hall, and before I could move, the Major was standing in front of me, demanding to know why I was going through his belongings without permission. I tried to come up with an excuse, but nothing came out, and when he saw the letter in my hand, it was like Dr. Jekyll turning into Mr. Hyde.
Timely reference.
I tried to move around him towards the door, but he hurled something towards me, and it crashed against the wall.
The ice thing.
That would explain the damage to the wall.
Oh.
I froze. I have never been so scared in all my life. I thought he was going to kill me there and then.
And you thought you would beat him to it?
Oh, Detective, you make it sound as though I had it all planned.
Well, I'm just trying to figure things out.
He lunged forward and grabbed me by the arm. I tried to push him away, but he was too strong. His grip just got tighter and tighter. If only you had seen the look in his eyes, I dared not even scream. I saw the sheath on his belt. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to hurt him, but he wouldn't let go of me.
Well, you probably wanted to hurt him, but not like this.
So you took your opportunity to put an end to it all.
I just wanted to get him off me. I didn't want to hurt him. I reached for it and I jabbed it at him. His grip instantly loosened and I ran straight out the door and didn't look back.
You did not even look to see what state you had left him in?
She had just been attacked, Detective.
Oui, please. Continue.
I ran down to the pantry looking for Rahana. She took one look at me and knew something was wrong. I explained to her what had happened and she went to find Archie. She said he would know what to do. We went back to the study and he was still lying there, motionless. Archie said that no one would believe me. That if someone like me killed someone like him, I would be sent straight to the gallows. He left the letter so you would find it. He said that if people knew what the Major was really like, then they wouldn't care what happened to him.
Kinda, but yeah, it's...
So I am to believe that it was Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna that cleaned the scene and orchestrated a plan that included a fake telephone call and dressing as the Major so that he may be seen. You had nothing to do with that.
I swear I had no idea that is what they had done. Archie just told me to stay out of sight. I am no master criminal.
Then Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna will be charged for
Yeah.
obstruction of justice and impeding my investigation.
Man, this a whole household is going...
Please, Detective. They were only trying to help me.
Yeah, but it's still bad.
If they wished to help you, they should have brought all of this to my attention immediately instead of committing more illegal acts.
Surely you haven't forgotten what happened with Florette. She was only accused of stealing a bracelet. I killed a man.
Yeah?
It is a day I have not forgotten, mademoiselle. Even for a moment.
And I hope Angeline didn't forget it either.
Without your help, I don't stand a chance. Please, Detective Poirot, you are the only one that can help me.
Oh, Elizabeth, why didn't you come to me?
I didn't think you would believe me.
Oh.
I felt so guilty. And when it was announced yesterday that he was a victim of the blackmailer, I wanted to tell you everything. I came to find you last night, Detective, but Archie stopped me. I'm sorry.
Archie stopped you. Come, my little gray cells, let's solve this mystery. What if Archie's actually the mastermind? Ba-da-da-do. Investigate the murder. Oh God, there's already a lot happening. Elizabeth is the murderer. Ba-da-da-da. Who? Oh, the why. Defensive strike. Let's stab the Major when he wouldn't let her go. So that
The
pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Elizabeth's story confirms Margot's claim. The Major's death was a result of a defensive strike. Finally, I've solved the case of the Major's murder. I must admit, I take no joy in declaring Mademoiselle Elizabeth as the killer, and I wish she had never been put in such a position at all. Well, I did it. Yeah, of course I'm well prepared. Self-defense. Okay, we did it. So, we found out the truth. Okay, Elizabeth.
Oh, yes, Detective.
The Major's missing knife.
I don't know where it is.
If you have been honest with me until now, I ask that you continue.
I'm sorry, I really don't know. Archie dropped it out of the study window and he said he would deal with it. I couldn't bear to touch the thing.
I have the knife in my possession, and I believe that from Mademoiselle's reaction, she does not know what became of it. She is unaware of the efforts that Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna went to mask what she had done. Monsieur Sterling was not lying when he said he would do anything for her. Merci, mademoiselle. See to play, wait in my room. Merci,
Please, I was only protecting myself. I didn't want to hurt him. He just wouldn't let me go.
Well, a man is dead, and we gotta figure something out.
Oui, mademoiselle. I know.
Okay, so maybe that's the end of Chapter 8. Are we gonna go to Chapter 9 loadings? Nope.
Mademoiselle tells quite the harrowing story.
I cannot imagine the Major acting in such a way. But Elizabeth could not make up such a story.
After learning what I have about the Major's character this weekend, I would not question the lengths he would go to in order to keep his secret hidden. I know that you share a close bond with Mademoiselle Elizabeth, but you cannot allow your personal feelings to taint your belief of what took place.
She has committed a terrible crime, but she will live with that for the rest of her life. She is not a cold-blooded killer.
If what she says of the Major's attack is true, she acted in self-defense, and in the law's eyes, a crime has not been committed. I will do everything I can to make sure her story is heard and a fair trial is conducted.
I believe the version of events that Mademoiselle Elizabeth has confessed to are true. The Major, having fallen into a fit of rage at the prospect of his sordid secrets coming to light, he attacked the young Mademoiselle and drove her to do what she had to do to protect herself. She put herself in a dangerous position, but there is a small part of me that commends the duty she felt to find justice for her beloved and the other workers that lost their lives at the Major's order. If the telephone line is now working, I must call in my findings. With the remaining snow, it may still be some time before they arrive.
Mademoiselle, it is time I addressed the house.
Are you sure? What will you say? What if they do not listen?
I can assure you, they will.
They have no choice.
Elizabeth was right, though. She's just a servant. What if they...
Mademoiselle, when Detective Poirot speaks,
They will listen. Oh, man.
would
Yeah.
you ask the guests to convene in the library?
Yeah.
Of course. And what of the staff?
I have told Monsieur Starling to remain in the staff quarters with the others. When the authorities arrive, they shall be dealt with. You have been of great help to me throughout my investigation, and now that it is over, I have one final request.
Yes.
You only need to ask.
While I am speaking with the guests in the library, would you watch over Mademoiselle Elizabeth in my room?
You don't think she will try and escape, do you?
In her position, I do not know what she might try. But I trust with you there, any potential ideas of such a thing will be squashed.
Yeah, unless you just let her leave. Chapter 9. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so Chapter 8 and Chapter 9, we're just going to put them into one video because it's been less than an hour. So we'll see how quick. Because, I mean, it's just... We figured it out, unless there's going to be some major twist. Chapter 9. The Denouement. Okay, yeah.
Detective, you have spent more time making us sit and wait for you than anything else.
Because
Madame
I'm
Van
thinking.
Den Bosch, if you think I have spent my time focused on anything besides uncovering the Major's killer, you are sorely mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will be eager to share your findings with us then.
Yes, I
All
will
in
be.
good time, Madame.
Once I make the drama
Firstly,
high.
To understand the truth of what has occurred this weekend, one must know the timeline of events that not only preceded the Major's death, but succeeded.
We are all well aware of what happened before, Detective. You can save your breath.
Wow, thank you.
You are only aware of what the guilty parties wanted you to believe. But now I shall apprise you to the true events.
Everybody's guilty.
The reason for us all being here, you know. The altercation between Monsieur Demire and the Major, you know. The body of Monsieur Hagen was found while we were all sat enjoying a most delicious meal. That you also know.
What you don't know.
But what was kept from us all was that his body lay on the study floor for far longer than was thought.
It was that servant. She found him.
S'il te plaît, monsieur. It was indeed young Inga that found the Major's body lying lifeless in the study.
But
So it was her.
shut up, Hugo.
Monsieur, I will not allow for any further interruptions. I return to the Major's body. If we are to believe the scene that we were presented with, the Major must have been killed during the first course of our meal, a meal that none of you left, even for a moment. Speaking in the evening, you all confirmed one another's alibis, and although there was doubt in the validity of some, I confirmed that they were indeed all true.
Yes.
What I could not understand was how a man came to be found dead, and every guest accounted for at the time of death. That is until I questioned the latter. Monsieur Beckers, I shall now allow you to speak. You saw the Major smoking a cigar in the snow. Is that true?
It is.
False. You saw what you were meant to see. Someone in the Major's coat standing outside, giving the illusion that the Major was still very much alive. Monsieur da Silva, on the afternoon of the Major's death, do you recall hearing a telephone ring?
Now that you mention it, I have not heard a single ring all weekend.
Correct. The telephone lines have been down for the duration of our stay, meaning the telephone call that was received and promptly directed to the Major's study was yet another act of trickery and deceit. But it did not end there. When I entered the study for the first time, it was obvious someone had already been there and falsified the scene to stage a burglary and clear away important evidence, including the murder weapon. What followed was an investigation that had already been hindered. But even those lengths were not enough.
He's very sure of himself. I mean, I guess you should be in this
I think
position.
We have all had enough
Yeah,
of your
exactly.
self-praise, Detective.
Okay, Cassandra, I do agree with
Perhaps
you
would
there.
like to tell us who killed him now?
Look, I just like to talk about myself sometimes.
Madame, as I'm sure you would expect, it is not as simple as that. What many of you do not know is the discussion that was had between the Major and Monsieur Beckers earlier that day.
What has that got to do with anything? I told you I didn't kill him.
I didn't say you did.
That I know to be true. What you do not know is that it was not only his ears that heard your spoken words.
I hope you are not implying I had something to do with it.
No, madame, there was another. Mademoiselle Elisabeth. You are all aware that the Major was hired by Monsieur de Silva to front the security during the workers' strikes. What very few of you know is that it was the Major's order that instigated the vicious attacks on those unarmed men and resulted in numerous deaths, including Mademoiselle Elisabeth's fiancé, Luc. Monsieur Beckers confronted the Major, declaring that he was to hand himself in. That is what Mademoiselle Elisabeth overheard. Now, knowing the truth, she waited until the Major was away from his study. After he stepped outside following the confrontation with Monsieur Demir's fist, it looked to be the perfect opportunity, or so she thought. The Major returned and found her looking for the proof she required to hand him over to the authorities.
If the maid bumped him off, why hasn't she been arrested?
The events that followed in the study are not those of a cold-blooded murder, but one of a young girl that had no other option but to protect her own life.
Sounds to me, Detective, like you have taken a shine to this young girl and would rather protest her innocence than arrest her.
Shut up, Jackie.
The crime she has
I'm
committed.
thinking.
Jeez, this is gonna make for a juicy story.
Mademoiselle, I ask you this. You have seen the Major's anger before, oui?
We?
What if I have?
How do you think he would have reacted if someone was to find proof that he had committed a terrible act, and that if made public, would surely result in his incarceration?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Exactement.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
It is quite the story you have told, Detective, but all I have heard is that Elizabeth overheard a conversation blaming the Major for her fiancé's death, and she murdered him in revenge.
Yeah.
A servant killing a man that is as revered as he was. She will face the noose.
I am not denying that a man has lost his life, but it is not the crime of murder that you all believe. While the Major did not deserve to die in such a way, it was his actions towards Mademoiselle Elisabeth that drove her to defend herself in any way she could. Mademoiselle Elisabeth will be punished, but we will let the law decide the severity of her punishment.
Yeah.
She has played you like a fiddle, Detective,
I hate this one.
acting the innocent victim. She will be arrested and hanged for her crime.
Stop
like
saying
every
people are
other
getting
cold-blooded
hanged.
killer.
Here.
Oh, Nest. Of
Give
course,
her
the
what
rich
she
people.
deserves.
Wow.
The girl has got to pay for what she's done.
Wow. All of you suck. Could not have been clearer with what occurred in the Major's study. They all have forgotten their own perceptions of the Major, the terrible crimes he has committed, and what he has done to them all in one way or another. I cannot allow for Mademoiselle Elizabeth's sentence to be negatively influenced by those in the house. I must help them see how their past actions have led to these unfortunate circumstances and losses of life. Okay, so now we gotta make everybody know that they suck. Perhaps I should remind them all of their participation in not only the workers' strike, but the resulting riots.
Those of you that are calling for the hanging of Mademoiselle Elisabeth, have you forgotten the roles you played? Your actions have been far from innocent.
Yes!
Look, Detective, I see where you are going with this, but it's not going to
Oh,
work.
this is just gonna be one big...
So maybe the strikes were down to De Silva and Beckers. But don't try and drag me into their mistakes.
Mademoiselle Conrad, If you are so confident of your innocence,
Yeah,
perhaps
you
we should begin
you make
with
like
you.
sensationalized tabloids. Convincing Mademoiselle Conrad to admit her involvement will be no easy feat. Involvement. Is that right? Maybe that's French. She is strong-minded and has deflected questions in the past. Perhaps a more aggressive approach is in order. You do anything? Yeah.
You don't need to imply it's only me that does. Ask any of my journalists, they'll say the same.
Even
didn't
if in
count.
the process people are hurt.
Oh, and got it. Okay, got her. It just took a second.
You knew the situation surrounding the strikes.
Yeah.
And only sought to swell
The media really
anger in
helps a
people
lot
and create
in
further
diffusing
chaos.
situations. Yeah?
Mademoiselle, you so often
Oh,
have
God!
something to say.
Get her!
Now is not the time for silence.
You really are delusional.
Maybe you should just keep your theories and claims to yourself.
Uh-huh. Is that right, Jackie? I don't know if yeah. Use others for your own agenda, not considering the repercussions.
You obviously have no idea what goes on in my world. I would say stick to honest police work, but it seems that it's not in your field either.
Yeah, well, I'm still winning. You cannot honestly believe what you have allowed others to fall while you walk proudly across their backs.
Look, it's...
Mademoiselle, I do not have time for your excuses. Do you wish to state your direct involvement, or should I?
It's not... Okay, fine.
Ooh.
Yes, the story was going nowhere. There was a deal on the table, and it was going to be done and dusted. Everything you said is true. I wanted the story. The scoop that would have blown the others out of the water. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. But I can see what I did wasn't right.
Yeah, you did definitely not right.
I didn't think you had this side in you. I can see now why Angeline asked for you personally. You're not like other cops. It's clear it's the law and doing the right thing through and through with you. If you say it was self-defense, I believe you.
Okay, next.
We can't just forget what that girl has done. It's not Jackie's fault, or any of ours, that she decided to do what she did.
Yeah, well...
Monsieur Becker.
Oh, you're next.
You are the last person I expected to defend Mademoiselle Conrad. We talked only last night, and correct me if I am wrong, but you have already declared the role you played. To me, at least.
Yes, we talked. It's just not fair of you to attack Jackie like that, putting words in her mouth until she succumbs to your plan.
Uh-huh. I know enough of Monsieur Beckers to know that pushing him will not yield results. The results I need. Playing the role of ally may be the best way to approach it. You're swayed by... Okay. You're not considered a striker turned violent. Direct.
Detective, I'm afraid you're misunderstood. That is not how it was. It was not my intention for things to escalate as they did.
It wasn't your
I could
intention,
not
huh?
have predicted that would happen. Jackie was documenting everything to do with the strikes. She wanted our story to be heard and wanted to know how I was handling the negotiations.
And they were handled by yourself?
Naturally. If I cannot handle simple negotiations, I am not fit to be in the position I am in.
I don't think you're fit to be in the position you're in. You're out of your work. Are you proud the decisions made during the strikes?
I was only pushing for what my men deserved, what they needed.
Uh-huh.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, Detective. Surely you must know that. Nothing is ever simple, Detective. I'm sure you understand that better than anyone.
Uh-huh. I understand you may not wish such details to be presented in front of your fellow guests, but for justice to prevail, the whole truth must be known. I fought for those that have voiced. Surely you would not allow another one to be lost. Okay. Got it.
You're right.
Yes.
I
Okay.
have
I was
tried
like,
so hard
yes,
to deny my
sympathetic.
part, but I know only too well that my decisions led to the death of those men. I know I cannot excuse what I've done. I just want you all to know that I am not a hateful or
I
malicious
just have a
man.
bad temper and I suck.
I only wanted to prove that I was the right man. I have lived in other shadows for so long. I thought I would be able to finally step into the light and be the one that everyone remembered, not forgot. Monsieur da Silva offered me a deal and I turned it down. I thought I was doing right by the workers, but it was only myself I was thinking about.
Uh-huh.
What more proof do you need? He said it himself. I made a generous offer to reach a resolution, and he turned his nose up at it.
What's going on, Showtime? We're finishing up this game.
It was not that simple, though.
Oh.
Oui, an offer was made. But Monsieur Beckers and the workers would never have been forced into that position had their working conditions been satisfactory to begin with.
Yeah, Mr. Factory Boss Man.
This is outrageous! Do you plan on blaming everyone for doing their jobs? I suppose it makes you feel better about yourself, doesn't it?
Wow, this guy, the mixing was a little, some people are way too quiet. Some people are super loud. It's going well. We figured out the murderer and everything, and now we're making everybody feel bad because they all played a part in having it happen. Although Monsieur da Silva eventually opened up, he was defensive when we discussed the matters of his blackmail, and that was a private conversation behind closed doors. I cannot imagine he will be forthcoming in front of the other guests. He is going to need some convincing to admit his faults again. Never heard such a pathetic attempt to justify one's actions. The problem stemmed from you and your decisions. If you were simply doing your job and treating your men fairly... Okay, insulting.
Me and my decisions.
No!
Need I remind you I am a success...
Okay. 3! You're willing to pay an anonymous blackmailer to accuse you of the same?
You said it.
Anonymous. I messed up. Claims of abuse against your staff, the hiring of militia?
Is that
okay, all of those were bad. Okay, we're... Okay.
Detect.
It was not... Does your...
Even after
Oh, okay. It keeps going. Sorry. I thought I would get to do that over.
Or not. She chose to
Sorry.
hide what she had done because she knew
Okay.
what she had done was wrong. And she
Well,
will be punished for it.
I screwed up completely. Da Silva just thinks that he's fine, even though he's a terrible boss.
It was not choice to hide anything, madame. If in her position, I ask, what would you have done?
I think as long as I
The
get 3
Major
people
has
on their
already
side.
furiously thrown an object at you, barely missing your head, and now has hold of your arm.
But I wouldn't have driven a knife into him, that I can tell you for sure. She is no fool. She intended to kill, not to defend.
Sure, Cassandra. God, I hate this lady. Madame Van den Bosch will be a much greater challenge. Oh, the greater than Mr. Da Silva? But my method of approach has worked with her before. If I am to sway her into seeing that Mademoiselle Elizabeth has no other option, I must persuade her that it was the Major's action that drove her to do what she did. Not the first time the Major has shown a threatening nature. Violent temper.
Quite presumptuous of you to assume violence is in his nature.
Putting my own feelings towards the Major aside, he was not an honorable man, at least at some time in his life. He must have been for you to allow him in your house for so many years.
Okay, ha-ha! There's a strike.
So, even you confirm he had a history of aggression.
He's playing the role of a caring friend very well, but that is all it was, a performance.
You have no idea. He was there for us when we needed him.
You were there for him when he needed free room and board.
That is not the case, and you know it.
Oh boy.
His actions are unforgivable and should not be defended by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You judge him so harshly, but I return the question. What would you have done in his position?
Not be a horrible person?
He had made mistakes. I will not deny that. In those moments when a decision had to be made, it fell to him, and he did what he saw fit.
Uh-huh. Making a poor decision once is a mistake. Making it twice is a choice. Okay, or the mistreatment you received from the Major, you cannot... Major ordered the attack on unarmed... Sure, you cannot condone that.
You
Aha!
do
The
not
twice.
know what
Oh, wait.
he had been through.
Uh-huh. Well, nobody knows.
Simply, madame. I ask
Except for
that
the
you
military
consider
guys.
everything you know of the Major carefully.
He was not always like that.
Get out of here! Okay.
The man that I called a friend would never have done what he has. I cannot allow another innocent person to be punished for his vicious and barbarous behavior.
You have seen the Major act
Probably
in
the
a similar
greatest
manner as I
detective the world
described
thinks.
before, haven't you? What was the outcome then?
Yeah, I screwed up with Da Silva, though.
You have convinced me that I am wrong, in both my opinion on Elizabeth's punishment and in the friendships I keep. Is that not enough for you?
Never enough.
Not when a potential crime has been committed, and I fear an innocent party may have been punished for it.
He was just a boy. I told him to stop, but he was like a wild animal.
What?
The confrontation with Mademoiselle Elizabeth was not the first time he has come close to killing another.
It was following the officers' ball. A young man, no older than 16, stopped us on the street, begging for some change. Felix pushed him away, but he was persistent. He only wanted a few coins.
Hi, Beth. Are you trying to figure out subscriptions? No, I gotcha.
Like a flash, Felix snapped and wouldn't let go of him. He would not stop punching him. I have never seen anything so brutal.
Yeah, there's the noodles. Yeah. It's just sometimes the Twitch is stupid, and it doesn't show badges right away. Yeah, I can't believe it. Well, at least I'm good for next Christmas, right, guys? I really need to add more emotes. It will happen, I promise.
But he was never charged for the attack.
Felix called the captain at the station.
But yeah, hopefully you're feeling good today and there aren't a billion
had
people
tried
at your
to
place.
rob them, and he was merely defending himself.
Oh.
The boy was thrown behind bars without a second thought.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
It was a full week before the bruises on Felix's knuckles finally
Charging slightly.
faded.
That's good to hear.
And even after witnessing such a brutal assault, you still support him. You still believe that he had not attacked Elizabeth.
Yeah, this guy sounds crazy.
The days following, he showed no signs of remorse, no apology to him or to me. I blamed it on the amount he had had to drink. But when you began talking about him finding Elizabeth in his study, I somehow knew it had happened again.
Yeah, it had.
Had you been open
I'm
about
taking my
the
socks
Major's
off.
temper, this could all have been avoided.
Yeah, all of it.
When you tell the courts the truth, Mademoiselle Elizabeth's self-defense plea cannot
be ignored. Yeah!
Just when I thought I could not see a more spineless move.
Excuse me?
You allowed a bully and thug to remain in your house and endanger your family.
Wow, I thought you were on her side.
I'm sorry, Margot, but I am struggling to understand why you have involved yourself in this affair.
I'm surprised you can hear me way up there on that high horse of yours.
Okay, fair. She kind of deserves that, but we're going through a lot right now.
How dare you speak to me in that way? Who I decide to keep in my house is my decision and no one else's.
Okay, it's right about that, but she just has terrible taste.
I can see that. Murderers, thieves, and extortionists are all acceptable, it seems.
Well, Margot, actually...
Countess, I have talked at length of the Major's death,
boy.
but not the reason
boy.
for my invitation in the first place.
Oh, here it come.
When I last gathered you all together, I spoke of a blackmail ring that was rife in the area, and then of the letter that the Major had received. Mademoiselle Angeline requested my help personally after she received such a letter threatening her family name. She felt I was the only one that could uncover the truth. And uncover the truth, I have.
Okay, yeah.
Get on with it, detective. Who dared try and extort my family and then have the gall to allow me to welcome them into my home?
Well, you're gonna love this.
If it was not for the honesty of a young servant, I would perhaps still be looking for the
For goodness sake, it was me.
Oh, she just doesn't care. Holy crap, Margot.
Margot.
Oh my god.
Good.
She didn't even give me the chance.
While it looked as though the Countess was helping the young women at the shelter, she was in fact only finding them positions of employment in wealthy homes to gather information on them and learn secrets that she would ultimately be able to use against them. Monsieur da Silva fell victim to her network of moles and was in turn blackmailed. It was quite the prosperous setup you had, knowing that they would not be prepared to lose their social standing if a secret was to find its way from where it had been hidden for so long.
That cannot be true, Margot.
Whew.
How could you do such a cruel thing?
Yeah, well, if I know any of your secrets, please give me $5,000 and I won't tell anybody. I probably wouldn't tell them anyway, but I also could use $5,000.
That is rich. Coming from you.
You are one of my oldest friends.
Oh.
High and mighty Madame van den Bosch. You think you can do what you wish when you wish it and there will be no repercussions. You are as bad as all of them.
I like how Zachariah is in the background just like, man, this is juicy.
If I do not get a straight answer out of you, I will march you to the police station myself.
And do what?
I'm surprised it took the Major this long to start living with you. He must have been on the edge for some time.
How dare you speak to me like that?
That stink face.
In my own home.
Well, yeah, she's gonna do
A
it.
home you share with the father of your daughter for so many years, and she still remains none the wiser.
Oh, no.
You have no right.
Uh-oh.
Maman,
Angeline?
Oh,
You
God,
heard
this
what
is
she has admitted to?
getting crazy.
She is merely trying to make herself...
is what she says true? Felix, he was my father? That is the secret that the letter was talking about. You told me that we had nothing to hide.
Well, I lied.
Detective Poirot, were you aware of this?
Oui, mademoiselle. But it was not my place to repeat.
I don't understand. What about father?
Your mama betrayed the love of a good, honest man and played away behind his back and then kept it hidden for all these
come
years
on.
like a lady of the night with her client list.
Jesus.
You will say no more. Angeline, I...
Did Felix know?
Of course he knew.
This is not an appropriate conversation.
He knew, dear girl. He knew the whole time. It is only dear Edwin that was blind to their deceit.
You will not talk of him like that. You will not talk of him at all.
Wow, this is bad because there's a
If I
journalist
don't,
right
who
there.
will? You never deserved him. You don't even deserve the memory of him.
Countess, there is something that you still have not explained.
What more is there for her to say?
A lot, actually.
How long were you in love with the Viscount for?
Oh!
Margot? Is that true?
I mean, that makes
We
sense,
were
too.
destined to be together.
Oh my God.
And then you turned up.
Jesus,
And
this
I
is
was
deep.
all but forgotten about.
Oh, yeah.
But you were nothing more than
The
friends.
friends?
And you made sure of that, didn't you? From the day you arrived, it was all about what you wanted and what you had to do to get it. You didn't consider Edwin at all. He was just a purse to you.
Ooh-wee.
I loved my husband, and I miss him every day.
Loved him enough to stray?
Both of you, no more.
Please, Angeline, let me explain.
Maman, I do not wish to hear anything else from you.
Not even your own daughter wants to hear your lies anymore. Cassandra van den Bosch, all alone.
How dare you!
Jesus. Oh, boy. Hello. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I was like, do I need to press something?
While I feel a sense of satisfaction and pride in solving both cases, there is still a part of me that is reluctant to revel in triumph. I am content with the unmasking of Comtesse de Vos as the blackmailer, and knowing that she will pay for her crimes. But it is the justice for Mademoiselle Elizabeth that worries
I hope
me.
it works out well, even though I
She
didn't
will
get
stand
perfect
in a court of law, and I can only hope that they
in
can see
the
she
everybody
acted in self-defense.
defense-y.
I must trust that our legal system and justice will prevail.
I hope I got the good
fair
ending.
Sentencing will be given. In protecting her own life, she took the life of another. Perhaps the guilt she must live with is a greater punishment than any sentence she can receive.
Maybe. Well, that it? End of game? Credits? Yeah,
Comtesse de Vos was taken from Nemozinet House in cuffs and placed under arrest. Although she initially tried to plead her innocence, Inga, along with a number of other girls that the Countess had found employment for, came forward and made full statements.
Yes.
She was charged with 5 counts of blackmail and extortion and sent to a house of corrections, where she will have a new life to become accustomed to.
Oh, fun. Oh.
Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna were also reprimanded for their participation. While they may not be facing time in prison, tampering with a crime scene and obstruction of a police investigation are certainly not something that houses and new employers will look positively on.
Oh, no. Well, that's what happens.
Mademoiselle Angeline finally became Madame Demire, and together they took up residence in England, where Monsieur Demire continues to support and fight for fairness and equality in London.
Okay, so he was a chill dude.
That we have remained in contact.
Oh.
And Madame Demire has become a regular correspondent of mine.
Well, I wonder if she
And
shows up at the
latest
next game.
joyous news is that they are expecting a child of their own.
Yay!
Madame van den Bosch showed compassion that I had not seen in her before.
Oh?
She stood in court and gave a truthful and genuine character reference of Elizabeth.
Ooh.
As well as describing the Major and the atrocious crimes he had committed.
Yeah.
After Madame van den Bosch's secret was revealed to the world, her position in the social hierarchy was no more, disappearing in a moment. While she still resides in Belgium, I believe she has had to adapt to a far more modest way of life.
Oh, God.
A
Well,
humbling experience for her, I am
Yeah.
sure. Following her actions in the courtroom, Angeline believed that her maman still had a place in her life.
aw.
Although they are on different sides of La Manche, they remain in contact.
That's good.
Mademoiselle Conrad left Nemozinet House the same way she entered, confident in herself and audacious in her opinions.
Ugh.
Her report of the Major's murder at the house and the surrounding blackmails became one of the most talked about stories of the year.
Yeah.
While
Well,
there were certain details of her own involvement that did not make it to print, she was really quite complimentary about the detective at the heart of the case.
me.
Monsieur de Silva tried to continue in his position as factory owner and business entrepreneur,
But
but after his accounts and business dealings were investigated following the details of his blackmail being made public in Mademoiselle Conrad's article, his
they closed
illustrious
it!
business empire began to crumble and is now facing an international corporate investigation.
oof.
Monsieur Beckers stepped down from his position as
Yeah.
union leader,
Good idea.
accepting that he was no longer fit to represent the workforce that, in his words, he had let down on a scale of unmeasurable proportion. Although
Yeah.
he is no longer the voice of the workers, he continues to support them from behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Monsieur Zachariah and his brother made amends, and
Yay!
returning to his family home, and after sobering
I
up,
like Zachariah.
he was able to find the help that he required. I understand that he is now helping fellow soldiers with similar conditions.
Aw, nice.
And Mademoiselle Elizabeth, she stood before a court, and while the proceedings were deemed controversial, the charges against her were dropped, and the reasoning of self-defense was accepted by the presiding judge. Madame van den Bosch's testimony, along with Mademoiselle Angeline's declaration of her good character, was enough to show that it was not in
Hell yeah.
Elizabeth's nature to act in such a violent way.
Yeah.
The abundance of evidence against the Major, and his violent and cruel nature, including his appalling acts during the strikes and the war, was more than enough to prove that Mademoiselle Elizabeth had no other option in that situation
Yes.
but to defend herself in any way that she could. With
Hell
the
yeah.
new arrival of Madame and Monsieur Demire's child next year, they have agreed to give Elizabeth the opportunity to return home to England
Aw,
and take up a position in their home as nanny.
that's nice. Yeah. Oh, no. It's me.
The
That was
death
all in my
of
head.
Elizabeth's beloved Luc has been at the center of everything. Had those in positions to help not acted with only themselves in mind, perhaps he would still be alive today, and the Major would have paid the price for his own crimes in the eyes of the law, not at the blade of a knife. The blood of Major Felix Egan will remain on Elizabeth's hands. A stain that wherever she is and whatever she may do, she will never be able to wash clean.
Cool.
However,
Her
it will
face.
remain as a reminder to not only her, but all of us, of what we as human beings are capable of to protect ourselves.
Yes.
We all have something that may be considered shameful or sinful, and it is how we deal with it that shows our true character.
Yeah.
Those involved in the riots, the workers' deaths, and the Major's killing believed themselves to be untouchable. Whether it was from their social standing or their confidence in themselves, they learned that everyone is accountable for their actions.
Mm-hmm.
There is no exemption because of the suit you wear or the money in your bank account.
Yes.
There is no price to a man's life. It cannot be bought or traded or discarded. No man is better than another, including Detective Hercule Poirot.
Yeah, no man is better than me, Detective Hercule Poirot. Yay! We did it! We beat the game! The last bit was just them talking a whole lot. That went in a direction that I didn't know. I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. Very good. Elizabeth's good. She killed the man, but he was an asshole, and it was self-defense, so she's okay. Those are all French. I mean, I get you know what? There's a lot of French. I guess that makes sense. I assume that's right. You know what? I could be wrong. There's a lot of names, though. Thank you, Beth. But yeah. Oh, gosh. And from the beginning, it was just like a small case. Oh, a theft. That wasn't a theft. Be careful. Common man gets stepped on by bad other man. Rich people don't know how to actually use their money. Blackmail. Friends aren't friends when you're rich. There's a lot going on. Stick together when you're all servants. Sorry, Rahana and Archibald. You guys kind of got in the middle of some stuff. But yeah, that was good. And like I said, this is probably a game that some people might find boring because, I mean, you kind of find evidence, you stick stuff together, you advance the story. I found it quite interesting. And because it's paced, it's what it is. It's its own game, you know? If you're looking for action, this isn't the game for it. But if you just need something to kind of like, oh, hey, let's make some deductions, and oh, that makes sense, and also see some rich people like just tear each other apart near the end, very good. I think they did a very good job with the voice acting. I quite liked it. The only thing is like some of the mixing was a little low, or like when somebody yelled, there was a huge difference between them talking like this and then like yelling, and you're like, oh, go. Oh, the Major and Archibald, Mr. Manning. You're so talented. I liked Zachariah. Lila Ali. Oh, she was Flora and... Oh, that makes sense. Flora didn't really talk that much. Rahana didn't talk much either. French. But yes, quite a good game. I enjoyed it. Definitely gonna dig into the next one because we have the ABC Murders, which is the next game in the series. I quite like this one. We'll see how the next one is. Hopefully there's a run button. That was one of the things that made me sad, is not having a run button. But you know what? It's okay. Sometimes you just don't have a run button. But yes, this was Hercule Poirot. You gotta be nasally. I haven't worked on my French accent because I don't usually ever have to talk with a French accent. But yeah, I enjoyed this. This was a good, like, chill mystery game that still had some twists in it where I was like, oh, that was not what I was expecting at all. So yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Blazing Griffin Games and the other people that made this. Hell yeah.